My name is Jim Purdy. I'm with the Purdy firm in Tampa, Florida. I've been practicing law for 33 years now. We have 5 members of staff with the law firm, and we do estate planning and probate work primarily. So when we decided to expand our staff, we looked at a lot of different alternatives. We work mostly remotely. All of our staff works remotely. We have a central office that we can use if we need to. But we were looking for somebody who could work remotely and still be a productive member of the team. So we looked at a lot of different options, and it was actually ended up being quite an easy decision to go with Remote Legal Staff because they specialized in the legal field. They were able to provide us with a number of qualified candidates for us to interview and to look over and ultimately make the best selection for us. So we were able to do that, and it's worked out very well for us. We have worked with another offshore staffing agency in the past, but what we found is the quality of the candidates and the quality of work that they were able to produce was just not up to par. Certainly it doesn't compare to what we're receiving from our assistants through Remote Legal Staff. So once we decided to go with Remote Legal Staff, we were confident that they'd be able to provide the type of employee that we needed with the right type of experience and background to be able to handle the kind of work that we were doing. I particularly appreciated the fact that they handle all of the HR types of functions, and all I need to worry about with our staff member is to give them the work and make sure that it's getting done well and on time, and it has been, so we've been very happy. So our experience with the hiring process or the interviewing process before we hired our paralegal through Remote Legal Staff was very simple and straightforward. We let them know in general what we were looking for. They gave us a host of options and different levels of experience, and within those different levels, they gave us a number of options of people that we could review their resumes and make decisions on who we wanted to interview. They handled the interview process, set all that up, and got it scheduled on our calendars and with the candidates. The whole process was very straightforward, very simple for us to go through. Well, as far as the onboarding process for Remote Legal Staff, it went very smoothly, very simply. Once we made our selection and made the offer to our paralegal, Remote Legal Staff handled all of the administrative tasks of setting all that up. We just set up our accounts for access for our new paralegal, and they got right to work. So it was very seamless, very simple process for us. So as far as time and effort in bringing the new paralegal on board and getting them up to speed on our processes and systems, it was very quick. It was very easy. The person we hired was very qualified and very quick to pick up and learn our systems and our processes. If anything, he was ahead of the curve, bringing his knowledge to the plate and applying it to the systems that we use. So that's worked out very well for us. Well, if someone were to tell me, oh, I don't have time to bring on a new person or to train them, they just don't want to be bothered with it, I would just tell them, look, anytime you have a new person that you bring onto your staff, I don't care where they come from or what their background and experience is, there's going to be some time and effort that has to go into bringing them into your firm and getting them trained up on how you do things and how you operate, because no two firms operate exactly the same. Our experience in this process has been that was a pretty negligible impact on my time and my effort. We brought them in, we got them acquainted with the processes and the systems that we use. We gave them some basic training on the case and how cases that we handle and how we do them, and he's taken it and run with it. And I've certainly have hired many people over the 33 years I've been practicing law that required a lot more effort and were much more difficult to integrate into the firm. So our experience with Remote Legal Staff has been with their help and with the quality of candidate, it was a pretty negligible impact on us in terms of onboarding and getting them really up and producing. If there's any lawyers who are wondering about what kind of tasks the offshore legal staff can handle, and in our experience, it's been anything that we've needed, anything that we would task a local paralegal to do, our remote paralegal has been able to do at least as well, if not better. So it's just has never been a concern for us. Our clients have been very happy in working with him and with the quality of product that he produces and just the way he handles them in general. It's been a very good experience, and like I said, it's at least as good, if not better, than anything that we've been able to find locally. So we use our remote legal staff for pretty much cradle to the grave handling of client matters. So from initial discovery calls with clients to find out exactly what their issues are and what they are trying to achieve, to following up, gathering information, communicating with clients, communicating with other parties, putting together documents and preparing plans, just everything from A to Z we've thrown at him, and he's been able to handle it all and takes care of it very well for us. So in terms of Remote Legal Staff's ability to handle our software, and in terms of adapting to the things that we use, we found that it's been a very quick process. We've actually have changed some of the software, our case management software in particular, since we started using the Remote Legal Staff. And he picked it up, honestly picked it up quicker than I did. He showed me a few things with it. So we've been happy with that. So our offshore staff was able to seamlessly integrate with the rest of our staff, with the rest of the firm. It really was a very smooth meshing, bringing in, partly because he's got a great personality and he's easy to talk to and get along with and to work with, partly because he's very eager to learn and to contribute. He's been able to do that. He's been able to produce great results. And so, he's very quickly become a valuable member of the team that we look to and our clients look to provide excellent legal services. And so far, that's exactly what he's done. So our remote legal staff currently handles 30 cases that he has primary responsibility for. And at any given time, he's working on different aspects of those cases and those files. But there have been several instances that comes to mind where a client had called up in a bit of a panic about their matter, not sure about what was happening, and just had a lot of questions and just needed somebody to hold their hand basically and explain what was going on and let them know that everything was on track and being handled properly, and was really able to bring them some peace of mind and help them to not only feel better about what was going on, but really look forward to the outcome that we were able to achieve, which was ultimately to get them everything that they were looking for in their case. They were very happy, obviously, and so am I. So as far as making sure the client data is secure and being handled properly, it's really no different working with remote legal staff than it is with anybody else in the firm. So much information is cloud-based and with emails and file sharing. All of that's done through the internet. So we're very careful as a firm to make sure that our clients' information is protected, and that is built into the systems that we use. And for us, it's been a seamless thing because working remotely, it doesn't matter where in the world you are, you're still using those systems and processes that protect the client's interests and their information. So we haven't had any problems or any issues with that at all. So we've been very happy with the level of support the remote legal staff has provided, and just in terms of training and following up on how our paralegals doing. If there's any issues, they're always there and willing to step in. They check in regularly with me. They check in regularly with him. And if anything, it's almost too much communication, but it's nice to know that they have our backs. And they do take care of any issues. We haven't had any major issues, but early on with some communication or things like that, they were right there. They were all over it. And, they were able to keep things running as smoothly as possible. So our law firm, we function remotely even for our local staff members. So, bringing on remote legal staff, it really was a seamless thing. In terms of productivity and communication, the communication works the same, for our remote staff as it does for the local staff. And productivity has been great. I mean, we have been very impressed and grateful for the amount of productivity that he brings to the table and the things that he gets done. I mean, that's why we ultimately hired him, but we've been very happy with what we're getting from them. One of the great benefits of working with remote legal staff is just the cost savings that we have. It really is a fraction of the price to bring in somebody from remote legal staff as it would cost us to hire somebody locally. Frankly, that's what began our journey in exploring the options and ultimately ending up with remote legal staff. We knew that we could save money. It was just a question of where we're going to get the same quality of work and individual And we found that through RemoteLegalStaff. That's exactly what we got. Somebody just as good as, if not better than what we would find locally, and we got it at a fraction of the cost. So for us, it wasn't a hard decision at all. So we found that having somebody offshore working remotely for our firm hasn't created any problems or issues in terms of them not being physically present. Our firm works remotely anyway, but even having local people who are working from home, the difference between having somebody working remotely overseas versus somebody working locally here with the firm, there just hasn't been. It's been a seamless integration into the firm. So my initial expectations when we hired RemoteLegalStaff, or even before we hired, when we were looking into it, my expectations were that there'd be a lot more work and effort in bringing somebody into the firm from overseas and integrating them and really making them part of the firm. I really thought it would take a lot more of my time personally, as well as other staff members, just to make that happen. And what we found is quite the opposite. If anything, it was easier integrating because of the support that we received through RemoteLegalStaff on the admin side, as well as the training and follow-up they have done. It's made it very easy for us, and much easier than I expected. So when I talk to people about using RemoteLegalStaff, sometimes they'll ask me, isn't it difficult dealing with somebody who's so remote, who's so far away? And again, it's just been the opposite of that in our experience. We have somebody who is highly qualified and also highly motivated to get work done and to do a good job. And for us, that has been a wonderful experience. We don't have to worry about, getting him motivated and wondering what's going on, that's keeping him from getting stuff done. He just does it. He works hard, he works well. And as far as, management, we don't have to spend any extra time worrying about those sorts of issues. The greatest benefit to me personally, hiring RemoteLegalStaff, has been the amount of time that is freed up for me. So I've been able to give a lot of work to our paralegal. In turn, allows me to focus my time on the cases that need more attention, and also allows me to bring on more cases. We have actually doubled our caseload just by bringing on the RemoteLegalStaff that we did. And we're looking to do that again in the near future. If I had to sum up the benefits of working with RemoteLegalStaff, I would say there's three main things. First of all is obviously there's a monetary savings in working with somebody overseas as opposed to somebody locally. And that's important for any law firm, to make sure you're paying attention to the bottom line. The second great benefit is that it has allowed us to scale our practice and to bring in more cases and to devote more time to the cases that we're bringing in. And the processes that we have put into place and the systems that we have put into place with our remote staff, easily scalable as we take the next step and the next step after that with our law firm growth. And the third thing is great peace of mind, knowing that we're working with somebody who is well qualified and who is well motivated to do a good job and to be impressive, not just for me, but for our clients. So just knowing that things are going to get taken care of well, you can't really ask for much more than that. Our long-term business plan as a firm is to continue in the path that we've started with RemoteLegalStaff. We continue to grow our practice and our firm. We're looking to hire more staff in the very near future. And we will turn to RemoteLegalStaff to help fill those needs as well. There's no reason not to from our standpoint. If we can get the type of people that we've seen so far to do the work that we can bring in, really no limit to where we can go in terms of growing the firm and really making a positive impact in our community. When it comes to return on investment, you really can't beat what we're seeing from our experience with RemoteLegalStaff. The work that we have been able to add to the firm, the number of cases that we've been able to add to the firm, and the growth that we've been able to see in the cases, not just the number of cases, but the value of the cases has gone up because of the work that our RemoteLegalStaff is able to put into them and to create that value. So I didn't have any real set expectations of how that would work out, but what I have found in my experience over the past several months is that it absolutely makes sense just from a business ROI standpoint to have highly qualified, skilled staff at a fraction of the cost of a local staff member. My biggest fear when we started looking into remote legal staff and bringing on somebody from overseas was just logistically, how would it work? What if there were problems? Who was going to deal with them? I've managed staff for over 30 years now as an attorney, and I've seen all kinds of things. And so I did have some apprehension about having somebody so far away. And if there were issues or problems, how would you just deal with them just from a management logistical standpoint? What I found is that with the support of remote legal staff and their crew, they take care of so much of that we've never really had an issue that we needed to address with regard to that. They screened the applicants to make sure that we were getting the type of people with the type of experience and the type of background that we wanted. So we started off with a great pool. We conducted interviews and got to choose the one that we wanted, and he's worked out great for us. So honestly, I've had less administrative headaches with our remote legal staff than I have with the folks who work here locally with us. My fear was unfounded. It's worked out very well. It really has been less of a headache dealing with remote legal staff than it has been with the local. Well, the only other thing that I would say for anybody who's thinking about hiring remote legal staff or working with remote staff in any way is to not let your fears stop you. If you look into it, if you talk to those who have had the experience and have gone through it, I've never met anybody that I've spoken to who has had a bad experience or who regrets working with staff remotely, and working through a company like Remote Legal Staff has just been a godsend to our firm. So I would encourage anybody who's considering it, do your due diligence. It's an easy decision once you've done that. And once you've seen the kinds of results that other people are getting, there's no reason you can't get that for yourself.